Alright, today's lesson is lesson number 81. We're going to be talking about two-way frequency tables. So this is the first lesson in our statistics unit. And, when you hear statistics, you might think of like numbers, percentages, maybe sports, like your favorite team or your favorite player. They have certain statistics. So this is kind of introducing us to be able to talk about those things. Statistics are really important in really any field that you decide to go into for a career. It's important to be able to read data, and if you can collect data and output it into a form that's readable, you are really valuable to a company. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And the objective is that today you're going to be able to construct and analyze data using frequency tables. Okay, so here's an example of a frequency table. A frequency table shows how often each item occurs in a set of categorical data. Okay, so this word categorical has the word category in it. So basically this kind of data refers to words, not numbers. Okay, so things like temperature or height and weight would not be included because those can be measured using numbers. This is categorical, or sometimes called qualitative. It's like the quality of something, not how many. Okay, so the categories for this example survey, maybe someone asked, hey, how do you get to school? Do you take a bus, a car, or walk? And then these were all their responses. And then you want to create this frequency table to kind of summarize the data. So they either took a bus or a car, or they walked, and then I want to count how many. So car, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 that took a car. And then I count walk, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 that walked. And there's a lot that I could tell from this. I could ask maybe what was the most used mode of transportation among the students surveyed, and you would say a bus, right, because that has the highest number. Or how many total students were surveyed. You could total these up and you would tell me 20. So there's a lot of different ways that, a lot of different information that you can pull from this table. Okay, and then sometimes we want to be more specific, so maybe there's 2 different types of categories. So if there's 2 categorical variables, in the example below here we have grade and we have preferred fruit. So not only am I asking a bunch of people which fruit they prefer, I also am interested in whether they're in 9th grade or in 10th grade. Okay, so we call this a two-way frequency table, and it makes a grid. So we have 100 randomly selected students, and they're asked which of these 3 fruits they prefer. And we want to complete the table. So first thing I want to do is just add the totals. Okay, so this box would represent the total number of students that preferred apples, right? I'm just adding both the apples. And then continuing on. So this box represents the total people that preferred oranges, and the people that preferred bananas would add to 38. Then I can see in my problem that there was 100 people total surveyed. I could also add these up. I would add, right, the total number of people that preferred apples, plus the people that preferred oranges, plus the people that preferred bananas. If I add that, I get 62 here, plus 38 is 100. Okay, and then in these blank boxes over here, I would just add across. So the total number of 9th graders surveyed would be 54. And the total number of 10th graders surveyed would be 46. Could also, to find this 46, you could also take 100 minus 54, right? Because you know that 54 plus 46 has to equal 100, or plus whatever goes in the blank has to equal 100. So you could just subtract to solve for that box. Okay, so here was a similar example that the students did on their own. They found out that I wanted to also know how many total people were surveyed. So total people that preferred dogs was 18, cats was 12, and total people that preferred other animals was 10. The total number of girls surveyed was 16. Total number of boys surveyed was 24. And the total overall would be 40. So then the answer to this question, how many people were surveyed, would be 40. Okay, and we could also get a lot of other data from this. For instance, I could ask, so what is the preferred pet going off of this survey? You would probably say, well, the preferred pet would be dogs because that has the highest total. I could say, were there an even number of girls and boys surveyed? And you would say, well, not really. Only 16 girls were surveyed and 24 boys were surveyed. You could maybe even figure out the exact percentage that is. So you could say, well, what's 16 out of 40 versus 24 out of 40? This would simplify and just be 4/10, or so that would be 40%, whereas this simplifies to 6/10, so this would be 60%. So you could say, well, there was a majority of boys that were surveyed. I could ask, what's the least preferred pet among the girls? And you could say, well, other pets, they mostly preferred cats and dogs, or dogs and cats. So other was the least popular pet. And then I could say, what's the least preferred pet among the boys that were surveyed? And you would look for the smallest number here, so that would be 5, so cats. So you would say, well, cats were the least preferred pet among the boys. So a lot of data that we could look at in a nice table. Okay, so moving on, sometimes we may be given a table that looks like this. So it's not showing all the data. It wants us to kind of think through based on what we're given so that we can complete it. So in this one it says 100 students were asked what fruit they chose at lunch. The two-way frequency table shows some of the results of the survey. Complete the table. Also, sorry, this should say if. What if the data isn't all there? Okay, so 100 students were asked this question. So first thing we would want to do there's a lot of ways that we could approach this problem. Maybe first we would put, okay, there's 100 students, so I know I'm going to put 100 in this box. Different ways that I could strategize how to fill this in. The third period class suggested that we fill this box first by adding these numbers and then subtracting that from 49. So 17 and 11 gives me 28. That means I must have 49 minus 28 in this box so that when I add across, I get 49. So 49 minus 28 is 21. So I have 21 in this box. Okay, and then, like I said, the question tells us 100 right here. So I can put that as my total overall. And then once I have that, I could subtract 49 from 100 to get 51 boys, right? If I know there's 100 total and 49 of them are girls, there must then be 51 boys. Okay, and now I can do the same thing here. I can add these together to get 26. Subtract that from 51, I get 25. And then I can just add each of these down to get my totals here. Okay, so I have 46, 27, and 27. I can check my work by adding these and making sure that I end up with 100. So 27 and 27 gives me 54. 54 plus 46 is 100. So this works out. So I know that I completed the table correctly. Okay, and again, I could ask you a series of questions based on this table, like, what was the least preferred fruit for each of the genders? So you would say, well, the least preferred fruit for girls was bananas, and the least preferred fruit for boys was pears. Okay. So moving on here, a couple other examples like this. This one, there's 200 teachers that are asked if they prefer the whiteboard or the projector. So we would complete this. We could start by finding this 43. We could either subtract 56 from 99 or subtract 44 from 87, right? Because this is a sum and this is a sum. So it has to be included in those. So we get 43 either way. And then again, the total here it says is 200. That's given in the question. I know that if there's 200 total and 99 are female, there must be 101 males. And then this box I can fill going across or up and down. So I could do 101 minus 44 gives me 57. Or I could do 113 minus 56 and that gives me 57 as well. Okay, and again, we could ask a lot of questions about this, right? Which was the most preferred teaching aid? Well, the highest total between both genders would be 113. Okay, and last example here, if there's 100 students surveyed about which beverage they chose at lunch, we would complete the table. So we'd have 100 here. That means... So that means I would have 40 here. If I subtract 60, I get 40. Then I could fill in this blank by adding 10 and 17 is 27. 40 minus 27 is 13. And then I can take some totals. 10 and 15 is 25. 13 and 24 is 37. I could look here, adding these, I get 39. 39 minus 60, or sorry, 60 minus 39 is 21, and then adding down, I get 38. So those would be my totals there. Alright, and that's it for today's lesson. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow.